Hey y'all, it's a podcast called Fresh.
Hey yo, what up? How y'all doing? Special bonus episodes podcast called Fresh. Sorry about to knock out episode 2 and drop it for y'all. But history has just been made this past Sunday. The first black WWE champion, Kofi Kingston, won. I felt a certain kind of way about it, so I had to get my man, Handsome Bane, here.
What up, dog?
How you doing, man?
I'm still kind of flying high right now, dog.
Nigga.
I'm energized off that shit.
I'm mad I got work so good.
I'm not. Because, like we watch enough wrestling and everybody's such a smart mark now, or smart, I should say, that it's hard to find something to make you suspend your disbelief and make you believe again, like the magic, because it's essentially a magic show, and you know how all the magic tricks are done, but you still go there. You kind of become miserable to it. You're like, but there's something, and this is that one thing that we've had in a long time to catch fire, to make us all just like, no, this is the shit that we love.
Yeah, and it's crazy, man, because it's like, I knew, you was telling me, like, dog, just wait, they gonna do it for Mania, and I'm like, I'm so scared, because I don't want them to do that junk, and then they lose, and I get my feelings hurt.
No, fam, there were parts in the match where I was like, that was kind of what, when you were saying before we talked about it, you were saying, like, you didn't like how it was, like, kind of one-sided. It was like, but that was what allowed me to feel like, okay, no, Kofi's going to win, because it's supposed to be telling the story of how he's so damn, like, he's so good, and Kofi's not like a giant monster to where it would look like he was a Lilliputian trying to like pull on him and like wrap him up. Like, all of his moves he could do to Kofi. So he could like lay out the whole arsenal of this thing that we're supposed to know as the American Dragon, Daniel Bryan.
But it's the main reason, man, we wanted you on here, man, because it's like, you are probably quiet as kept when I got back into wrestling and I watched my first match. I saw that shit with y'all. That was when The Rock lost to Brock Lesnar, and he beat the shit out of The Rock.
Dog shit out of The Rock in that match.
Yeah, and I remember that shit, and it was like, I had quit watching wrestling for a while after that, because I didn't know nobody else who said that shit was cool, and you was the only nigga like, I'm grown, and I watch wrestling, so what? Yeah. I'm like, but we're not supposed to, we're grown, it's fake. So, nigga, I'm entertained. And I'm like, oh, okay, so then it's like, and it's like, after
that is something I would say, so, nigga, I'm entertained.
Yeah, I'm entertained, niggas is hurting you, and I'm like, dog, did you think that powerbomb was sweet? Yeah, whoever don't like that shit, fuck them. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it's just real interesting to me. It's like, from that, I had to learn, like I was telling my wife, man, I had to learn how to watch wrestling and what to watch it for. It's like now,
right?
Like she was telling me, like, why are you so emotional? Why are you tripping out? Isn't it predetermined? I'm like, yeah.
Give yourself over to it for a second and then see how you feel. Like, I sat there and watched it with my wife when CM Punk was doing the Messiah thing.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there watching it with my wife, and she was just like, this is so fake. This is blah, 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 blah. She just let her guard down for 2 minutes. I don't tell anybody that, anybody that I'm trying to make a believer out of wrestling, I don't tell them anything that they're about to experience. I'm just quiet. I let it play out. And then as soon as something happens, I look at them like, and I'm like, see, they got you. Because once he started doing the whole Messiah thing and like shaving people's heads and making them like put their hands over their hearts, she was like, oh, this is so blasphemous. And she was just like, she was furious. I was like, see, he got you. He got you with that shit.
And and that's all it is. And it's like, it's like I was telling somebody on my job, and I'm like, dog, if you look at it for the art of what it is, and I peeped that when I started watching New Japan. Yeah. It's a story.
The New Japan stories pay off so well. Like, you're just like, all these guys either have to be best friends or the worst of enemies. Like, because it's like you watch all of the Golden Lovers shit play out, all of the I think Eye Patch Wolf on YouTube does I don't know the nigga, but it's a pretty good story. Like, if you got 20, 30 minutes you need to burn, and you are not, or if you are, fuck it. You like wrestling, or you think it's, you're trying to figure out what the big deal is, watch that. And just kind of allow yourself to listen to a story be told about storytelling. And then you'll probably be like, oh, that is vastly interesting. Even if it doesn't hook you, it's like, oh, yeah, okay, I see. I can get with this.
Yeah. It's like once you get someone to talk to about it, and like I was watching, I had my wife getting into it because I'm explaining the story and I'm explaining how stuff is going on. I'm like, even when I was telling her about the Kofi match, I said, the thing about it is he got his ass whooped the whole match. It makes you feel sorry for him. I said, then it made you feel like, on some sense, this shit could end at any moment now.
Yeah.
He could have clean pinned that nigga and you'd have been like, damn, he beat the shit out that nigga.
He beat Kofi's ass, yeah.
But the build up was so dope. Then, like you saying, when that nigga came back with that kick from the equator,
when he it was the hulking up when he starts like,
oh man, that shit was so dope.
Why is this working on me right now? It's like, I've seen this spot 1 million times. Why is this affecting me? Like, Kofi's never hulked up.
Never. Not that I've seen.
Never. But it was just the importance of, like, you going to have to do something that you've never done before to achieve something that you've never achieved before. So it was just like, I took all kinds of inspiration from this. And again, like, we don't have to keep explaining it, but we keep explaining it that, like, dog, this is important. Like, this is my new.
Oh, it's very important.
This is my new Ron Simmons moment. I know I told I think it was my first podcast that I ever done with B Hyphen on the Hyphen podcast, the Hyphen Nation podcast.
What up, Duff? How y'all doing?
It was the first time we talked about wrestling, and of course, I brought up the Ron Simmons moment where, my mom worked hard throughout the week, had side hustles, selling silk floral arrangements and all this stuff, and Saturdays were sacred. I need to sleep until X amount of time. Do not wake me up. There was the Saturday morning after Ron Simmons pinned and beat Big Van Vader for the WCW World Title. And I was late to the party, but, I had just found out that this happened. And I hit the roof and I went and banged on my mom's door while she was asleep. And I'm like, Ma! And this is a woman who wouldn't let us buy ice cream off the ice cream truck unless the driver was black. And so I go back on, Ma! We finally got a black world champion! And she said, what? She wasn't even mad at it. I thought that she probably should have been. But
because that was ass whooping worthy back then.
Yeah, that was ass whooping. Like, I woke her up it was like 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Like, but she was not mad because I was just that excited because Ron Simmons was the champion. So this one feels a little more important because, it's not the first, but, what about The Rock? And it's like, yeah, but does he own it?
Yeah, that kind of got me, man. And it was like, your niggas say, I transcend race. What are you, Jesus wrestler? Nigga, but I understand they didn't build him as black. He was billed as Samoan.
Right, he was billed as Samoan. He was, and yeah, again, it wasn't like he was owning, like, it was like Kofi's like, they say it. Like, Kofi and them will say, like, a lot of times, like, yo, it's because we black. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
oh, yeah.
And it was obviously set up to give us that whole racial tension, especially with our current political, social backdrop. And it worked, man. It worked because What was you saying about a skinhead, the Trump supporter?
Oh man, that's all. I literally saw that nigga fighting like just racism, and I was just like, I felt like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all them was watching this match. It was just like, dog, it was just fighting white supremacy. That's all I saw. I'm hit out in the bathroom at work, nigga, screaming like, yes, and don't nothing move my ass. So I'm like, yes, right. Oh shit, oh man. Dude, it's like, I was so mad that meant so much to me. And it's like, it reminded me of back when they had posted that Black Excellence shit. Yeah. And I remember, and I was telling you about this in the, when I started feeling a certain kind of way, it's like, I posted that shit that my man Malik was like, oh, this bullshit. And I'm thinking like, my wife said like, what's the big deal about it? I say, even though it is fake, it's quote unquote, they have to choose to give you the title.
Right. Yeah.
So you have to be good on some level.
Right. That's like having, okay, so it'd be like saying Denzel winning an Oscar wasn't important. Regardless of if Denzel won an Oscar for Malcolm X and you were just like, you wouldn't be happy. Like, the fact that he didn't win it for Malcolm X had people upset. Malcolm X is a film about a guy, but it's not, you know what I mean? Like, it's a movie, Training Day, people were all, all for it. Wins an Oscar. Again, Training Day is a film. This is essentially, you have to win and defend your Oscar. So it's like,
oh damn, that's dope. That's a good. You know what? And on that note, we're gonna go take a break real quick, and then we'll be right back. 1 second, y'all.
It's like sound advice or whatever. It's like comics, conventions, and cosplay, or whatever. It's like ladies' night, or whatever. It's like wrestling, or whatever. It's like parenting, or whatever. It's like anime, or whatever. It's like spiritual warfare, or whatever. It's like great friends, awesome people, coming around doing what we do best. Or whatever. You should watch, listen, and follow. Or whatever. It's like a podcast or whatever.
We do it for the culture, not the vultures. It's a podcast called Fresh.
And we are back. Don't forget to defend your Oscar. I wanted to also say with this whole New Day thing, it was real interesting to me because, again, if it wasn't for my man Bane, I would just totally have gave up on him. Because I remember when it first came together, and my man Xavier came out, and I'm like, oh snap! I remember hitting you up like, it's gonna be a new nation, domination. Definitely. And then they came out smiling and stuff, and
I was pumped for that too. And there was something on Twitter where it was a guy who wrote for, I forget what he wrote for. One of the, I think it was like Brian Alvarez. I can't remember. I need to look it up. But it was somebody, and I was just like, dog, you're going to have to let us have. Well, he was like, why is it that every time that black wrestlers get together, they have to form an angry mob or whatever? They got to make an angry. No, he was like, oh no, another angry black man stable.
Yeah.
Which, could sound one way or the other. So I was just like, my thing was, you're going to have to let us have this one. And this was even before they even announced what the whole vibe of New Day was really going to be. And I was like everybody else thinking that it was going to be a new nation. And I was all for it because it's something, with some brothers doing something. But that, just thinking back on that and just how they kind of flipped it. Because they still did, and that's why this is so enjoyable, because they did it their way. They talk about how they had meetings with Vince and how he was trying to find something for them, and how he thought New Day being smiley, happy baby faces was going to work. And when they started getting booed, fun fact, Detroit was the first city to boo them.
That's what's up.
They started and that was the push that they wanted, because they wanted to be heels. Right. And except for Kofi. Kofi was just I had never been a heel before. I don't know how to do that.
And that's what I was wondering, how they gonna pull that off.
Right. And all they did was be us. Just like, how would you act if you won something? And, just like, how would you act if you had been held down? And pretty much like, if you was at work and, you won something and finally, you was just going around just putting it in everybody's face and nobody could take it away from you because you had worked, you had already done the work,
Yeah.
And nobody could take that away from you. And then it was 3 of y'all. And it's like, oh, damn, these niggas be clicked up.
I like the fact that, I'm going to say this to their credit. It was like they were evil, and it was some clever shit, because they was like, I like how if you watch from beginning to now, it tells a complete story. It shows growth and development. Even when they first started turning heel, you could like watch them do shit and be like, it works.
Yeah.
Oh shit, this works. And it's like, even when they were bad guys, it was dope because it was like, nothing's worse than a person doing bad believing they're doing good.
Right.
And it was like, I remember they came out one time, they beat up John Cena like everybody.
Right.
And they would not shut up about that shit.
Man, I wanted them to keep going that way for a long time. It was like, because they left everybody laying. And I was like, oh, this is the New Day I was looking for. I wanted to kill everybody. Just kill a guy. And then it was just like, no, they backed off of that. And I still didn't, for me, it was like, why pull the trigger? But again, this is pro wrestling. You could reboot every week.
Of course.
Every show. And so, when but then they just still went their own way. And even this was like, they had won the tag team belts before, and it was like corny because they were doing the smiling baby faces, clapping and trying to get the New Day Rocks chant going on, and then they turned it to sucks.
Even that chant was so dope, how it literally went from the crowd saying they sucked consistently to now when Kofi won it, the whole crowd, New Day Rocks. Yeah. They didn't pay them people to say that shit. No. That's what they naturally did. That shit is dope to like, just to have something. It's like if I had a song that you hated, nigga. Yeah. And I kept changing the beat. Same lyrics, same flow. Until eventually you were asking me to hear that song.
Right. It's like, all right, dog.
That shit is ill.
Let me pull this song up. You know what I'm saying? And they just do it. But it was that turning point was them even as heels at SummerSlam that year where they had the Tigers or gear.
Yeah.
And they and then they won. And the over the top celebration of Big E shaking his hips and Kofi doing the backspin, where it was just like, dog, okay. And it was just like,
and I had to learn how to look at that junk. Cause like when you was saying, you was like, dude, Maps, nigga, if we won the championship, nigga, if you had, I'm like, yeah, they couldn't tell me shit.
They couldn't tell you.
I was like,
nothing.
They like, nigga, stop twerking, make me and take this belt.
Nigga, I'll stop twerking when I lose, nigga. But I can't seem to lose right now. Y'all niggas can't. You niggas ain't talented enough to stop me from celebrating.
Nigga, don't worry about this twerking. Worry about this gold, nigga, that you can't take.
Worry about this ass beating I just laid out for you. I beat that ass, I make the moves.
And I like how they all came together. And listen, this is probably us black men looking deeper than what it is. Black men coming together, working together. Making that shit happen.
No, it's 100% what that is. And
supporting each other.
Yeah. Like like that life, just the regular life of that. Not anything scripted, written, performed. Just that road life that just them being that support system for one another. With Kofi probably being like 8 to 9 years older than the both of them. And, just kind of like them listening to him, being able to absorb what he learned. Xavier Woods is a genius, like a flat out genius. Like he's about to.
Yeah, it's like low key. He seems like to be one of the driving forces behind all that shit.
Yeah, and then and Kofi and E just being smart enough to just pick it up and run with it. Like Big E is just like it's a bunch of shit that he does that you should hate. You're like, dog, relax, bro. And he's just too much, but it's just enough. It's just
that nigga's so good at what he does. When they did that shit with Edge and Christian, when that nigga tried to eat the kazoo, I was dying, dog.
Dog, this nigga would just do anything. Like he bust a full on China. Was it the Chinese American split he did yesterday? It's like,
I ain't even see that shit yet. I gotta watch that shit when I'm done with this.
This nigga just did a split just for the hell of it. Like, this nigga is all of 300 pounds of muscle. And, like, bust out to a split. And then, they just know how to do just even the little stuff that they do. But the fact that to reel it all in, the fact that they did it their way, that, everything that they were going to Vince was like, it was just like, he didn't understand it. But then it was just like, they were able to make him trust them. It was like, no, it's going to work. It's going to work. And if it doesn't work, then you don't have to do it again next week. These motherfuckers got cereal, pancakes, trombone. They've gotten over so much stuff that it's not even clearly there's no relation to any of that stuff in pro wrestling, and that's why.
Nigga, when they did the Final Fantasy victory, I was like, "You won me. You won me over. I can't. You got me."
No, because I have been watching Up, Up, Down, Down, like maybe right before that. Right before I was like, "Oh, okay, this nigga's geek. All right, I got it. Okay, I'm with you."
Yeah.
And then he did that, and I was like, fam. All right.
Tough, bro.
I'm here.
Yeah, that nigga, like, if you peep, dog, when that nigga Kofi won, Xavier was crying before that nigga Kofi won.
Yeah, Xavier was, because, and that's what I'm saying, that's why it all works, because this is the part that you separate. You talk about things being real or fake. That's real. Those were real tears. Real. He, what I'm saying? Like, he had seen his friend who had been there before him, been working for 11 years to get to this goal that was not attainable until they were like, yo, I remember them saying it a long time ago. It was like, yo, so you guys have captured the titles X amount of times. What's next for you? He was like, we want to get Kofi the championship. Like,
yeah, I remember
he said that like 3 years ago. And so it was like, that was already being worked on back then.
That's ill. Well, shoot, we're gonna go to break real quick. We're gonna chop it up and just gonna end this up because my kids are downstairs acting crazy. Be right back.
This is King Carees from the Black History Buff podcast, sending a message to my man Maps from the I Black Man podcast. We're loving what you're doing over there. Here in the UK, we're dropping episodes of Black History weekly, and we're also bringing your stories your way every other week as well. So we're covering the champions from yesteryear as well as the stars of tomorrow. Come and check us out once you finish listening to I Black Man. Peace.
We do it for the culture and not for the vultures. It's a podcast called Fresh.
And we are back. The final segment of this glorious Kofi Kingston New Day bonus episode. And I've been trying to be positive this whole time, and I have to say it now. Maybe it's just me. I was pissed. It's like, we get a black champion, but then Hogan got to open that bitch up.
Man, listen. I thought that shit was so gross, and I really don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about a ghost. But, the ghost of racism past. Where, for one, he looked like shit. Like, why are y'all parading Hulk Hogan? Put that, like, if you just gotta fucking dance him out there, put that nigga in a tux or something, like, I don't want him coming out there and
do a dry wave, like a majestic wave. And it's like,
just pull a car up. Like, you guys have constantly been bringing motor vehicles down the aisle at WrestleMania. Just bring a limo, roll the window down, wave, and then bounce, dog. Like, get out of here.
I'm like, why is he here? I just found it very ironic that they had Yolanda Adams singing the national anthem and Hulk Hogan out. Today we win. But that's cool. Small things to a giant. I was going to buy the New Day shirt, but I saw all that Hogan gear, and I'm like, y'all not even trying to be subtle with this junk on the website. It was gross, but...
And it's like, why do they want us to be so excited for this old nigga? Like, nigga, I don't care. Like, even if he didn't do anything, I wouldn't be like, oh... Like, nigga, get out of here, dog. Like, I've been wanting Hulk Hogan.
I've already said I would just like to see Braun Strowman just chasing that nigga around every event, just squashing that nigga and, like, pushing cars over.
Bobby, let's do... I don't know. What's the nigga? Bobby.
Lashley? Bobby, no eyelashes, no eyebrows, yeah.
That nigga fought for Trump. So
Nah, that nigga's forever iffy in my book for that one.
Yeah, he an army. No, well, I'm sorry, Marine.
Yeah, I just think it's funny. He look like a big baby.
Shout out to the Marines though. But yeah, he does look like a
He
big,
looks like a big muscular baby, like him in the Authors of Pain.
I don't trust no black man that ain't got no hair on his face or head, dog. Get out of here.
That shit is kind of suspect, dog. You ain't got a mustache.
That nigga look like a regular show character. Hey, weird, bro.
That nigga look like number one from Codename Kids Next Door.
Yeah. Get out of here, dog. I'm good.
Hey, did you get the chance to watch the Wrestlemania with your girls, man?
Yeah, I watched the first go around. I watched most of it till Jay had to go to bed. It was dope because, she's pretty much like, she already did a video where she was doing an impression of Vince McMahon talking about how he hates black people.
Oh, God, that's awesome.
Yeah, like when she was, because we watched the Gauntlet match. And so after Daniel Bryan did the thing, after he lost to Daniel Bryan after beating 5 other superstars, Jada was just like, she was like, what is this guy's problem? Like, why does he hate black people?
I love the fact that they pick up on that.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's that time. And she was just like, why does he hate black people so much? What's going on? And that's when she got frustrated and made the video. It's like, all right, wait.
That's powerful. I haven't watched none of it with my girls yet. I had just thinking of the episode I'm about to put out. I did an interview with Rain about the Spider-Verse movie, and that junk is so crazy. It blew my mind about how big representation is.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't know nothing about Spider-Man. She's like, oh, it's a black Spider-Man? Bet, let's watch it.
All right.
And I'm like, okay. And then even like, she like New Day. She's like, oh, okay, cool. This and that. Even though they want to see Bailey, which they don't know that they lose. So I'm going to watch that one.
Yeah. We watched that one too. And, Jada's favorite wrestler, flat out favorite, is Sasha Banks. Yeah, she was like, because Bailey ate the pin. She was like, see, Bailey always loses. It's like, I guess, yeah.
I'm just so happy Iconics won. It's like they're so.
I fucks with
like my dog. Like they sound like dog. They're so good at making you not like them.
Right.
Anytime you stop and pose in the middle of a match, nigga, Iconics.
I love that stop and pose. And they stay for a minute. No,
they stay for a minute.
I was trying to think of anything because and that's the crazy thing. We're talking about representation. Like we also have to talk about for women. And the women have been killing it, man. Like, whether or not you think like I don't know. I think their matches have been amazing. I think Charlotte Flair, even though I'm tired of her, because they just like, hey, y'all niggas want Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is like the new with avocado. And it's like, dog, okay. Like, we get, like, the thing is because she doesn't need any help. You can bring
She's
her
already done all there is to do. What's she gonna do next? Be the tag team champs by herself?
By her damn self. Go to the Hall of Fame tomorrow. Like, that's what
book her own matches.
Right. I'm good on that. Like, we can always save Charlotte Flair for later, just like we can always save AJ Styles for later. Like, I think AJ Styles is probably the best I've seen in the ring. Like him.
Oh yeah, I'm just mad he left his best shit in TNA.
Yeah, well, that's because TNA they were working fewer dates, so it wasn't like they.
That boy was clowning in the X division.
Yeah, he was.
Dog.
Yeah, they lost his mind in the X division. But it's just cool that you got a guy who is genuine, like as far as I could tell, just like the character that he portrays. So it's not.
He sounds like it too.
Yeah, he seems like when his kids came in the ring. Since we talking about kids,
that got me. I was like,
Yep.
And when they brought out the black title, I was like, oh, the symbolism isn't lost on me. You brought it back to the original and you made it black. It wasn't lost on my ass.
Right.
I'm like, people online were complaining. You gave away the end of the match because they already had his thing. Shut up. Give me my moment.
Shut up, man. It's okay. It's all right. If you didn't think it was going to happen, just shut up. Let me have
I just, for that one moment, man, I just believed all was right with the world. When I seen all the white...
It felt really good, man. And that's the other thing. Man, I don't want to overstep, but we just lost Nipsey, dog. You know what I mean? Like,
Man,
I
dog,
wouldn't have been able to handle
dog.
Kofi losing that. Like, come on,
Oh,
dog.
no, I couldn't.
All right, dog. It was like attached to Rock of Triumph. Like, like, nah, you can't do like even if Vince was thinking about it, who's this Nipsey Hussle? Oh, black people really liked him, huh? Well, if Kofi loses, probably dredge up old feelings about Nipsey from a couple weeks ago.
We don't need no more beef in the hood.
Kofi needs to win because I don't want to riot all over the United States. So
I like to believe he took that into consideration.
Yeah,
that would be
like,
so awesome.
they did what? They killed Nipsey Hussle. Oh, God damn it, pal.
They've taken too many L's this year.
Oh, no. Not Nip. That's my guy. Fucking love. I love Victory Lap. That shit was fire. Still
Which lucky that shit is super fire.
It is a hard ass album, and I was I don't want to be that guy. I've been listening to Nip. I've been listening to Nip, but I was more in tune with all his innovations, and we still have that with Kofi. Like, Kofi is very involved in the community. He's, his parents, let's say BC, he went to BC, graduated from BC. His parents were at Boston College, not too far from me right now.
Hey, don't all of them in New Day, they got like degrees?
Yes. College graduates.
Facts.
And that's the other thing. It was like, not to say that, everybody better go to college, but when you go to college, you know what I mean? Like, when you do, it's a feather in the cap. I'm not going to front and act like it. It's not a small thing to pull off a degree.
Oh, no.
It's exceedingly difficult in this day.
And I thought it was dope how they were alluding to that. Like, if he don't win, fuck it, we gonna quit. That's what we got other skills and shit.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, man, I don't know if this is real or not.
Right. It's like, nigga, I'm about to start a video game studio. And he probably still will. Like, he's got a very, very popular channel too. That
Super popular, man.
Yeah, I just saw what's at PAX East. Him, gorgeous, Tyler Breeze.
Okay.
Ember Moon was also there.
She's so dope.
She is, and super nice. Out there on some game. She was in Pikachu pajamas.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna just leave it at that because I don't want to objectify her. She looked great, and she was super, super nice. But yeah, they were all there playing. They were doing like a Dungeons and Dragons type game for their
that's
game.
too ill.
Yeah, and he like turned heel toward the end, like killed half.
That's ill. I hate to say it, man. I'm gonna have to wrap this up because my children are downstairs tripping. Before
My
we go,
children will be home pretty soon. So.
Yeah, well, I guess I just wanted to say with this, man, of course, thank you for coming.
For sure.
New Day and stuff. If y'all don't know, if you don't watch him, check it out. I think it's something that's dope about him as much as I was apprehensive with the rainbows and unicorns and stuff. I also thought it was dope that through all of this, in their uniforms and stuff, their outfits and stuff, peep it. They always got like a little kente cloth.
Yeah.
Something African or a nod to the heritage and the stuff that they do. Which I know didn't come from Vince or anybody in WWE.
I met the guy who makes their gear.
Word? That's ill.
Yeah. He was at the rollout game. Yeah, we talked about costume design. He gave me some pointers on a thing that I'm going to do later. But, it's all there.
That's what's up, man. That's good, man. Well, you want to plug your show before you go, sir?
Oh, you mean ILAPOW? Sure. It's like a podcast or whatever. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at ILA_POW. Or you can go on the Facebook and find us at It's Like a Podcast or whatever. ILAPOW. So, doing a thing at Anime Boston. We're doing a proactive safe space called The Save Point.
That's dope.
We're helping people not be we're helping people not be followed by creeps and stalkers and that sort of thing. So come to our spot, hook you up with some people that you can walk around with, get you into security if need be, some eyes on the thing to make sure that nobody. We'll do our best to make sure that you're safe getting back to and fro, because a lot of times, a lot of people, namely women, come to these events by themselves and turn into a target, trying to do that at all costs. So,
of course,
Anime Boston, April 20th. If you are listening to this in the area, hit us up, and try to make sure you stay safe.
That's cool, man. I've heard a lot of people doing stuff like that. That's what's up.
I blew their minds when I brought it up, but it's gonna be more active than it's not just gonna be, hey, come sit in this space. It's gonna be podcasting, playing games, karaoke. You got some coloring books, whatever the case may be.
So you're getting your Attack of the Show on then?
I'm doing a full ass show. Like, it's gonna be the whole damn day. I'm supposed to work, but guess what? I'm gonna be right there at Anime Boston.
Hey, it is what it is. I'm mad. I feel like I'm missing out, man.
Well, we'll be doing it going forward. So.
Yeah, because that's a pretty dope idea.
This is a beta, so hopefully we're not needed for too long. That's that. So check us out.
All right, well, check them out, man. Thank y'all for listening, and we'll be back soon. And of course, check out all of the other quote-unquote equally, if not maybe better, our Black Man Podcast. Podcast on the Hyphen Podcast Network. And shout out to Tony Stank, a.k.a. Kels, for keeping the lights on.
For sure.
Be slow to speak, quick to listen. We'll holler at y'all. Peace.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. This has been a Hyphen Podcast Network production.
They're the bestest. I'm getting paid at exposure.
What's up, everybody? What up, though, from my Detroit people? My name is Kellen Conley, host of the world's greatest podcast, Hyphen Nation. And also, I am the founder of the Hyphen Podcast Group. Now, you may know some of our great shows like mine, Hyphen Nation, or I Black Man Podcast, or Catch the Show, or It's Like a Podcast, or whatever, or Browns in Our Blood if you're a Browns fan, or just an NFL fan in general, or Lemon on the Edge, or even Victory Jump Off Radio. But I'm here with a special announcement. Hyphen Podcast Group now has a Patreon page. Now, I didn't want to do this because, honestly, we're working on getting our numbers up. But what happens around the middle of the month is our web hosting, which is graciously provided to us by Eric Jordan of Browns in Our Blood. We forget to pay it because we have other bills, and then the site goes down. What happens is normally Catch the Show comes out on Saturday, and by the middle of the month on a Saturday, well, the site's down. And then I got a show I got to promote, and I can't do that. I mean, I can on Instagram, but I don't feel right not having everything on the site because the links on Instagram say link in the bio. So what's the point of going to link in the bio if you can't bring up the site? So start a Patreon page. Not asking for much, just looking to get roughly about $15 a month right now. That would be enough for us to pay for the hosting each month. It's located at patreon.com/Hyphen Podcast Group. Check us out. There's tiers and rewards. You can even be on a show if you're crazy enough to pay us a bunch of money. But even if you just throw $1 in, which is the minimum tier, that means that you get your name mentioned on a pod at any given time. There's going to be a list of Patreons, and we will say your name, if you want us to, on a pod. And that's kind of cool. So if you want to support us and keep the site running on a timely basis, which is what we're trying to do, please check out the Patreon, man. And again, that is patreon.com/Hyphen Podcast Group. And continue to check out our shows. Let your friends know about our shows. We're on all podcast listening platforms. And yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks, y'all.